Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Zimmerman, and welcome to Introduction to Archaeology for Fall 2020. This is going to be a very fun and exciting course that's going to dispel a lot of misconceptions about archaeology for you and introduce you to what I hope is a really, really fun and exciting discipline. So, just to take you through a little bit, welcome to Archaeology. This is the introduction to the course, and really where you're going to learn about what archaeology is and how archaeology works. So some of the things you're going to learn about in this archaeology class is some of the main misconceptions that people have about archaeology. Those of you who came here interested in digging up dinosaurs, I'm sorry, this is not what archaeologists do. We dig up the material remains of past societies in order to learn about ancient peoples. Those of you who also come to this class hoping that it's like Indiana Jones, I'm sorry to say Indiana Jones is not a very good archaeologist. A fedora, a whip, and a revolver are not proper archaeological equipment. And unfortunately, the Indiana Jones syndrome and sort of mass media has led people to believe that archaeologists are in fact treasure hunters that seek these great and valuable artifacts of the past to donate to museums and to spread into the world. Really, this is not what archaeologists do. Archaeologists work with artifacts, yes, and you will be working with artifacts in this class, but we study artifacts to learn about ancient peoples. And what it comes down to is the fact that really what archaeologists are is we are anthropologists. We study people, just like cultural anthropologists do. But because we study past peoples, unless you happen to have a DeLorean that goes 88 miles an hour, check the Back to the Future reference, you have to learn about past peoples from their material remains, the things that they've left behind. And so what this means is that we need to really engage in what we call public archaeology. We need to engage with each other. We need to engage with the material remains of the past in order to figure out what past peoples were like. This includes all sorts of great things like modern ethnographies, talking to members of indigenous communities and descendant communities about their pasts and what they mean to them. Working very hard to celebrate the culture of indigenous communities and descendant communities and give these communities agency over the past and their ancestors. This also means learning about the basics of archaeological fieldwork. What does it mean to dig an archaeological site and record our findings? Remember that archaeology is a destructive practice. By digging and taking these things out of the ground, we are destroying the context in which we find them. And that's incredibly, incredibly important because the context is how we learn about people rather than just the things that they left behind. Some of you may wonder, what it is that I can do with a degree in archaeology. Some of you may just be taking archaeology because it sounded like a fun course. There's this misconception that all of archaeologists are these professors such as myself, when in fact the majority of archaeologists, about 80% or so, work in the compliance industry, helping companies and federal agencies to meet federal regulations when it comes to managing cultural resources. Other careers, our students have found careers in museum studies. Our students have found careers in archaeology technology, like 3D scanning, video games, all sorts of other areas. Heritage tourism, and also education. Here we see my son working with an archaeologist at the Providence Children's Museum. This is an archaeologist from the Rhode Island Historical Society, and he's wearing actual 19th century glasses from their collections. We can see that archaeology as I mentioned before, works with video games. Very often, video games companies like um, those that makes Assassin's Creed will actually hire archaeologists to come in and bring accuracy to their video games. So really, there are a million things that you can do in archaeology and a million different exciting things that make archaeology what it is. And I'm so excited to be able to work with you this semester to bring the past to life. And that's it. And I will hopefully see you in class soon.